What's going on, guys? My name's Eric. I'm. This is a tape reading session. So on the left-hand side, you have the DOM, which is your depth of market, and so this is going to visually show you where the market participants are stacked at. And so, if anyone doesn't know, this is we're doing ES here. So this is the depth of market for ES, which is SPY futures. So basically what this is telling me is that we're having, these are in this blue column here, you have the bids. So the market participants that are willing to, that have limit orders at the set price point. So for example, you can see that we have quite the contract stacked, which is 104 at 4105. And so this is also gives you a volume histogram of where the larger players are going to be sitting at. You can see that, 4100, this volume node sticks out. We have 132 sitting at the bid. And then vice versa, right? We have this is the ask side, and a price point here. You have 139 market sell orders at 4109.50, and you can see these levels as your levels of resistance. On the left-hand side here, the histogram, the purple is going to denote your point of control, and so typically the way I use points of controls a lot. If you haven't, if you've been following how I trade, points of controls is literally just a point of control whether or not bulls or bears are more confident. And so when you're looking at points of controls, right, you have the one on the not just the depth of market, but also you're looking at the market profile, which is something we'll get into later. So mine is the green line. Basically, points of controls, again, for 106 was a level from last session, which was a ceiling. And now that is an area of, I would say that's also a point of control, even though it doesn't show on, the dotted lines on my chart. You can see that this was a level that once we broke past, you can see that the market just decided to go higher. And so now you can say, okay, the point of control, which we broke through Friday session, can now be seen as a point of control of interest for buyers to keep the price up, for prices to move higher. And then, obviously broken, you might see more bears in control. So that's the DOM. And so this column here represents the market sell and market buy orders that are hitting the market. And so these numbers here, you can see that we're still seeing 4 come through. That this is stacking right here. Now it's going to 9. So just from looking at this, more market buy orders are hitting the market at the moment. And what's going to confirm this is when price starts to auction its way up higher, and you'll see the price itself just kind of scale up the ladder. And so when you're really watching all of this, obviously it's very low volume. You can just tell by the movement. You really won't be paying attention to the velocity of the tape, as well as, big buy orders. And that's kind of where we'll go into the filter tape parts. So for ES, I have 3 tapes usually. This is the unfiltered tape, which is just kind of shows you all the transactions that are going through. Right next to it, I have the filter tape, which separates this by sizes of 80 or higher. And so, and then up top, we have the summary tape. So unfiltered tape just shows the transactions going through. Filter tape 80 or higher. Typically, you want to see where the bigger players are playing at. You see all the orders that are coming. There's just 1, 4, 5. Very low volume. I haven't seen any large lots show up, and that's typically you'll see that during regular trading hours. But yeah, in terms of like order flow wise, you always want to see the large lot sizes do matter. Say you had a bunch of selling here and it was just all ones, but you saw market buy, like a big buyer buying 100, 200 at the ask. Even though if the filter tape is reading, unfiltered tape is reading a bunch of ones selling, obviously the person hitting the ask with 200 lot is more in control. We'll go into the summary tape here. So this column here is going to denote time. This one, the second one is inside bid. And then this 5th one here is the inside ask. So this is going to be your spreads, your bid and ask, right? And then in between here, the 3rd column here is going to be a number of trades that hit the inside bid. So you can see here, 4107.50, we had This one's highlighted in red. So 2 market sell orders hit the bid here. And then you can see none hit the market offer side. But next print right here, you can see that there's a buyer that did hit the ask 2 lot here. And then on the final column on the 5th side is your cumulative delta, which is going to be market sell orders, market buy orders minus market sell orders. So the more cumulative delta you have, the more market participants are sell or short the market, and vice versa. So typically when I'm looking at this, you want to see either confluence or divergence with price. And so I would say a lot of times when I'm looking at breakout setups, especially on SPY, I'd say 9 out of 10 times when if we're sitting at a point where we're breaking out and the filter tape is, I'd say the cumulative delta is like running like negative 5,000, increasingly negative 10,000, but price is holding. That is a very bullish signal to me, and then that's kind of where I'm watching. And then you kind of combine if you see like large market buy orders hit the market on the ask side, and the velocity starting to scale up on the DOM. That's a very bullish indication to go long in the market, that there is a strong likelihood of a breakout. Going back to the filter tape, so these are the transactions that hit the market, and what Jigsaw does a really great job of is kind of dissecting what kind of transactions that hit the market. So you can have all it is buy and sell, but what you're really paying attention to is the urgency of those buys and sells. So the way this is filtered out is that I'm pretty sure. So the reds are going to be your sell orders, obviously. The teal is going to be those that are hitting sweeps. So sweeps are basically when a market participant they have urgency, like they want that price, like they want the stock at this price, and then that at the ask too. So that's like major urgency. Purple is going to be sweep at the bid, same urgency, but not as urgent as this neon teal shaded color. Here, blue is going to be above the ask. So again, ask is any price, any market participant hitting the ask is always a sign of urgency. And then block orders, red and a little bit of blue. But the idea is that when you're watching the tape, you really want to see the urgency of buyers or sellers. For example, when this is running regular trading hours, right? Friday session, right? I saw a bunch of sweep asks hit the market, 200, 300, just running through this through my filter tape, right? And the cumulative delta I think at the time was negative 4,000, negative 5,000. So from that perspective, right, just looking at the tape, I'd say that's a very bullish indication. And you're looking at the point of control, right? The ceiling was 4,106, and now you're seeing all these market orders hit the market, urgency, right? And that's when you're just reading it real time, that is a sign that okay, maybe the market does want higher. And so that's kind of where you get a feel of how the market moves. And all this is really just watching. I stream this every trading session for you guys to see it, and we'll start doing it on Zoom so you guys can actually see what's going on in the tape. But that's the general gist of it. All you're doing is, again, you're watching everything at once. Not one thing is going to tell you the answer. It really is just a puzzle, and that's kind of where, as a trader, you really need to get, really be watching that, for all the clues. And if you're watching the chart, there's a good technical setup too, and you're watching the tape, and the tape is yelling bullish to you. That gives you more confidence as a trader to enter the trade. Let's see what else we got here. So this is a heat map. This basically kind of visually shows you whether there or not you have absorption or sellers, right? So you can see that the green and red candlesticks just represent price, and then the blue, the circles, represent buyers or sellers. So the more bluish it's shaded, the more buyers there are. Obviously, right here you have a lot of sellers here primarily, And there is a correlation with volume and the circle. So the bigger the circle, the more contracts traded in that period, and then vice versa, smaller circle. Below is your depth. So this is going to tell me how strong the buyers or sellers are at, and if it's blue, there's more selling pressure at the moment. And you can also see here on red, blue.